Hey everyone, welcome into the Scoreboard. I'm your host Blake O'Rulian, and on today's show, we meet slackliner Davis Hermes. We learn all about a fundraiser for the Rotary Club of Vail, and we get your weekly fly fishing report. But up first, Maddie Evans sits down with slackliner Davis Hermes.
The Vail Valley produces such incredible athletes, and some of them have very unique talents. And I'm sitting with one of those athletes right now, Davis Hermes, who you do a very scary hobby.
Yeah, I think it looks a lot scarier than it is, like you learn how to breathe through things and every fear kind of goes away with like exposure therapy.
Right, well, I mean, you're high off the ground, so for people who don't know what you do intense highline slacklining.
Yeah, so slacklining is like an umbrella term similar to skiing. So there's different divisions within skiing, like moguls, and there's park, and there's backcountry, and all sorts of things. Same thing with slacklining. There's highlining, and there's trick lining, and there's freestyle. And what I focus on specifically is highlining.
You're doing some pretty big tricks up there on the high line, though, and so you're doing a little bit, I feel like, a combination.
Yeah, so then if we're going to go deeper into like the divisions of slacklining, highline freestyle is the type of highlining that I do.
And how did you get into slacklining, and specifically this type of slacklining?
I saw it at the GoPro games in 2012, just trick lining, which is like a tight 2-inch webbing where it's like a mix in between a balance beam and a trampoline. And I saw that and said, I knew I needed to do that. And got myself a line, really got after it, and then found a good mentor through just a string of emails. Gibbon at the time, a slackline company, was doing a come to your school and do like a outdoor education Friday type deal, and met this guy Josh, who ended up being my mentor, and brought me into highlining. And since then, that was in 2012 still. And yeah, it just had my heart.
Just like that. It's one of those things that you started and you just fell in love with. And so as you've progressed, how did you find your way into highlining from kind of that learning point?
When I went to my first highline, I didn't even know what highlining was. This guy Josh that I just mentioned invited us to this thing called GGBY, which is an event in Moab at Thanksgiving every year. And I thought it was just like a come slackline, like hang out at the park or whatever deal, and showed up to this huge canyon and had never seen highlining before and just was speechless. Still am, even when you see a highline, there's not much you can like, it's just like a wow moment. And yeah, that's how I kind of got into it. I just didn't know what I was getting into and then saw it, and the rest is history, I guess.
I fell in love from that moment on. It's like a love at first sight situation. And so as you've kind of progressed and learned your way through all of these different aspects of slacklining, what is the scariest part? Because you are roped in, you have a harness, you're not just like out there free for all on these very scary, intense high lines.
Yeah, so you are leashed in. I think the scariest part is always like the first step in standing up. Just because you're not like quite in the flow yet and you're getting out on a line, and it is something that's scary. In the beginning I did say like, yes, like it's something you learn to cope with, but you need like a second to really get in the groove and look around and take everything in and be like, okay, like this is okay, this is why I'm okay, like I can look at my harness, like I'm tied in. Yeah,
you know you're safe. And so as you've been learning your tricks on the high line, what has been the hardest and scariest trick to learn so far?
Scariest trick is probably back flop, which is just like you're bouncing on your feet, obviously, and then you get to the top of the bounce, and it just looks like a backflip. But the line's really loose, so it's not like trick lining where you're above the line the whole time. The line will actually roll off of your shoulder, and then you grab it and put it back on your feet. Or in Korean, which is it's like straddle. And That's probably the scariest just because it's really committing to just like kind of huck it backwards. And then the hardest was probably, it's called triple Yoda, which is it's a triple backflip. I was the first to do that one last fall. So that was like a relatively big deal, at least for me. And yeah, that one took a lot of motivation to grind through because it's a lot of falling. It's not like, oh, I'm going to try this, you know? It's like learning anything. There's a lot of trial and error.
I'm the most embarrassingly klutzy human being to like ever walk. And so I could not imagine doing what you do just because I have a hard time standing in one spot for too long without like shifting or wiggling or tipping over. And so what you do is so scary. And so as you're progressing, you're about to go on a big trip with slacklining and do a big competition, and you found a really cool community within the slackline community.
I did, yeah. That's one of my favorite parts about the sport is the community. I think because it's such a niche sport, it's very easy to connect with people, and like you meet another highliner, you're like, this is great. You like the same thing as I do, and no one else does this. So that's good for like meeting people in person, obviously. You know, it's a common connection, easy to talk about. And then when it comes to international things, it is still such a small community that you connect with a lot of slackliners through social media, FaceTime, things like that, and talk about ideas of new tricks or rigging things, just like a whole different range of things that you can talk about slackline related, obviously. It's easy to kind of connect about.
And it's easy, I'm sure, to go down a rabbit hole once you meet someone who has the same knowledge about the sport as you do, because then you can just like rabbit hole.
For sure. Yeah, it's I had to catch myself just then. I almost started talking about just like what kind of rigging stuff we could talk about. But yeah, I like to nerd out about the sport for sure.
I mean, you could definitely nerd out. It's just you might have to like slow down and re-explain things because it might just go up and over my head. So something else that you do here in our community is you're also a Vail ski patroller, which keeps you really busy. Mm-hmm. The training there is intense. You guys spend a lot of time on snow. And do you think that's what keeps you in shape for the slacklining when the season comes back around?
I think the slacklining keeps me in shape for the ski patrol.
The reverse.
Yeah, in the summer I'm very like nomad, like cardio exercise type stuff is, I'd say, more of what the slacklining is. And then in ski patrol, I focus more on like strength stuff. But yeah, they're like different, but they work together for sure.
And through slacklining, you've found a committee of sponsors. So we know that you have a local sponsor, Ski Town All-Stars, which is a great hat company here who is awesome to work with in all capacities. And then you've got other more slackline specific companies that you work with.
Yeah, the team I'm under is Slackhouse. It's a Polish slackline company. They have 3 athletes, me being one of them, and then David, he's in the Canary Islands, and Taylor, and she's in Canada. And then, yeah, a few others. Drink Burke is a startup in Boulder that has been just a major help recently. And Swiss Slackline, who's hosting this competition in Switzerland that I'm going to, has been helping me out recently. Yeah.
Just a lot of really cool companies to come together and kind of help this dream move forward. So if you had any piece of advice that you wish someone would have given to you, or you would give to someone who's just getting into slacklining, what would it be?
Just keep doing it. It's hard. It really is something that's really difficult, and there's a really slow learning curve. But just keep doing it. It's like the best you can do. People are always, when they try the first time, like, oh, I could never do this, you know? And it's like, you can, like, it's just practice. No one just gets up and just starts, like, cruising across a high line or, like, a line in the park or anything. Like, it's something through the entire process that's a very slow learning curve.
How many hours in total would you say that you spend on a slackline in a year?
I
know, tough question. Putting you on the spot.
Too many.
Sorry.
I don't know. I mean, in a week, probably 20, maybe, in a week, like being on a slackline. Maybe that's an overestimate. I don't know. A lot.
A lot. I mean, it's part of your career now at this point. You've kind of gone down that path where you could take this into something much bigger than just a hobby that you're doing because you're basically one of the few people doing what you're doing. So you're already at an elevated stance with your career in slacklining, and now you just have this great opportunity.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make it like an official thing for sure. It's a really interesting time for me because it's kind of like I'm just getting done with college, and it's like, do I want to really pursue slacklining, which is the goal right now, or kind of have it just be a hobby and have like a day job?
A day job. Well, I think you should check out this slacklining thing because you do such an incredible job. And so if people want to follow you, see what you're doing, and see how you're doing, and also these crazy tricks that you're doing, how can they do so?
My Instagram is basically all I use. Occasionally on Trickline Collective, it's a YouTube channel. There's like a more time-consuming video, but typically everything's just on my Instagram, and it's like if I land a new trick maybe, or just updates in the slackline world.
Which is really cool, and we just had the 2022 GoPro Mountain Games, which you got to participate in, and there's some insane footage of you like high-fiving kayakers under the line.
Yeah, that line's really fun. It's actually really small and short, which I'd like to complain about, but you can't because you get what you get. Yeah, that event in general is so amazing just because it's my hometown. It's where I saw slacklining for the first time, and now what exposed me to the sport is what I get to perform in. So that event's awesome.
Kind of goes full circle, which is amazing to hear, and it's so cool to see that here in our community.
For sure.
Davis, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, give us all this great information, and good luck in Europe.
Thank you.
Make sure that you follow him on Instagram. That way you can see all the adventures that he's up to and to see how intense the slackline community and lifestyle is. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Blake O'Rulian. Up next, we learn about the Rotary Club of Vail and their annual fundraiser. The Vail Duck Race normally puts about 15,000 ducks in Gore Creek. The ducks start at the covered bridge in Vail Village and race to the International Bridge. Maddie Evans got all the details for us and how you can adopt your ducks.
One of the things we all love about Vail is some of the activities that they bring back year after year, and the Vail Rotary Club brings back the super well-known, super famous duck race. And I'm here with Tim to give us some more information. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Maddie. How are you?
Well, I would like to wish you a very happy Father's Day here on air.
Thank you. I have two beautifully talented young daughters, Christina and Renee. And hey, waving. We always wave. So anyway, yeah, so back to Rotary.
Back to Rotary. Now we'll switch gears back to Rotary and the ducks.
Yes.
So for people who don't know what the Vail Rotary Club does, can you give us an overlook of kind of everything that you guys do and help bring to life here?
Sure. So we have a duck race every year, and we basically put them in at the covered bridge, and then they race down the creek to the International Bridge, where that's the finish line, and the winning duck, the first duck that comes into our chute, wins $5,000, and then there's other gifts after that, and all that is from the efforts of working all summer long at these village markets for you to be able to adopt a duck for the year. We reuse the ducks every year, and you get a number associated to your name, and if you buy 100 ducks, you have 100 numbers, and that's how it works. We raise over, well, we're close. COVID was around $50,000, and we're getting back to our $100,000 goal. Yeah, and it raises money for basically children. 75% of the funds stay in the valley here. And so we donate, we grant money to non-for-profits in the area, like the Cycle Effect is one of them, and there's others, Salvation Army, the food pantries, just non-for-profits that speak up, reach out is another an important one to us. So That's what we do in the valley, and then 25% roughly goes international, and we do freshwater projects, and we're trying to eradicate polio, cleft lip, club foot. You know, we just try and dentists. I don't know what they call it, but the dentists travel internationally and do dental work and stuff, and so that's kind of what we do all summer here.
And you guys do a lot of hard work. I know that some of these days can be nice and brutal when you're standing out here. It's like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's really hot. But what you guys do is so important. And you guys just had to do a survey of all the ducks and kind of audit audit all of your ducks. How many ducks are there total?
We got it done. It took a lot of us. There was a great team that we put together through all the groups. There's 3 rotaries in the area: Edwards, Vail, and then Eagle, and we all group together and we count all these ducks and we make sure we don't have any missing ducks or we don't have any duplicates, and so we've done that, and so we're ready for the race. It basically, we put up catch fences at the starting line. We have 1 fence, and then we have 3 catch fences, so we really try and hang on to every duck we've got, so we try not to lose any ducks, and so yeah, we did that.
And in total, how many ducks are there?
12,000 ducks.
12?
Well, we have more than that, but we're comfortable with 12,000 in the river in the creek this year. So
12,000 ducks. So if people are interested in buying a duck, they can come see you guys at the booth.
Yes, they can.
They can also do it online.
Yes, they can. VailRotary.com. They can purchase ducks. We have a special little treat this year for people that visit us at the booth. We have a sticker that's being developed to remind you of the day, basically, and to know that you're in, so that's what we're doing this year.
And that you've got your duck, because getting your duck is so important. And
get them in a row.
Get them in a row. All of my ducks look like what they look like when they're going down the river, down the creek. They're just scattered.
They're just little rubber yellow ducks. It's nothing special. We do have celebrity ducks that we sell for people that are Jerry Garcia fans or Willie Nelson fans. These ducks are created to look or represent Kiss or Willie Nelson or whatever. Elvis Presley is a big one. So, yeah.
A lot of good celebrity ducks. And so, although we all gear up and we love the duck race, we wait for the duck race, what other things do you guys do throughout the year?
Good question. We're always trying to look for other ideas. This duck race is respected around the nation as one of the best fundraisers out there. There's a bowling thing. We do have a golf thing, and so there are other things, but this is the key to our fundraising for the year.
This is the big one. And so where's your booth located?
It's right outside of Carrots, the jewelry store, right across the street from the parking structure, the main parking structure in Vail. You can't miss us. We usually have a duck on our tent, a big rubber yellow duck. So you'll find us, that's for sure.
The big yellow rubber duck. And how much are ducks for people to buy right now?
$10 for one, $20 gets you 3 ducks, and you get price points. I think, $20. You caught me. It's the first day. $20 gets you 3 ducks. $30 gets you 5 ducks. It kind of escalates. There's people that will buy 100 ducks, and when they come to our booth, because they know what a good cause it is that we're raising money for, and it's children mostly.
It is children, and it's really cool that you guys put it back into our community, especially because we have so many great nonprofits, the Cycle Effect being one of them. Speak Up, Reach Out. You've lifted off some of the key ones to our community, and so it's really cool that that money gets to come back and people get to be part of that.
Yeah, it's so special. They come and speak with us. We meet 7:30 every Wednesday morning at the Manor Vail, so if anyone wants to join us, you're more than welcome to see what Rotary's all about. I'll buy you breakfast. And basically, people come and speak, and we hear what their story. And once, we all discuss it, and, we grant money. We have scholarships for children. There's 15, I think there's 15 candidates this year that will get a scholarship from us. And there's also foreign exchange student programs. So kids from abroad will come here, and we send our kids out into the world, and they come back different people. It's amazing when you'll see them interviewed before they leave, and when they come back, it's just, they're so mature. It's just, and then they'll stop by the booth and say, hey, I was, foreign exchange student back in 1995, and it's like, wow, you became that, foreign language translator for that bank, or whatever. It does change their lives for sure.
That's really cool, and what cool success stories you get to share with us and kind of take us through. So if people are interested in maybe learning more about the scholarship opportunities, how can they do so for maybe their kids in the next few years?
Yeah, they can contact us, vailrotary.com, or just, I guess you could just Google us. You'll find us.
Just Google.
Yeah,
That's it.
vailrotary.com, man. You'll find a lot of information there, and a phone number or two.
You're going to have a lot of people coming for breakfast now on Wednesday mornings.
I hope not.
You said it.
I did say that. I can't believe I said that.
Tim,
It's
are you going to be at the booths today?
I'll be at the booth, most of the day, and I'm setting up now, and then we'll break it down at 3 o'clock when the village closes.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us this morning, giving us this great information, and thanks for all the hard work you do here in our community.
Thank you. I appreciate the time to talk about Rotary.
We appreciate you coming to talk about Rotary. Ooh, words are hard this morning. I haven't had coffee yet. I need to go get some.
I haven't either.
Well, we're going to get coffee now. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got more Good Morning Vail, so stay tuned.
Welcome back into the Scoreboard. It's time for our fly fishing report from our resident expert, Mark Sassy of Minturn Anglers.
Okay, hey, we're back, everybody, live here at Minturn. I'm interviewing Ben Gruner, one of the fishing guides at Minturn Anglers. You got a trip going out this morning, right?
I do. Yeah, it's 7:30 trip. 2 old gentlemen. We're excited. Spoke on the phone last night.
So let's talk about the fishing business for the summertime. You've been guiding with Minturn for how long?
Jeez, what is it, 6 years now? 7? I think so, yeah.
So that pretty much makes you a pro guide, right?
I'd like to think so.
Do you have A River Runs Through It on DVD?
I've only seen about 20 minutes of River Runs Through It. Yeah.
I need to clarify something here, because Ben is one of the most entertaining guides that we have. He's great with kids, he's great with beginners, he's great with everybody. You're awfully reserved right now. Is it because it's early, or is it because you're on live TV?
It's early and it's TV,
This is chill. I got Maddie watching. We have Nick in the control room.
All right.
We have Danielle the boss. You can say hi to everybody.
Hey guys. Ben, Small Hands Gruner.
So the small hands reference is because you do have small hands, but it's easier to handle those small flies, right?
It is. Yeah, we use these little guys right here.
Let's show everybody what's happening out there.
So it's easier to handle them and it's easier to tie them, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that it's an advantage.
There's an advantage to it at some point.
Yeah.
What's happening on the rivers? I know that we had higher and colder water longer in through June and the early part of July. We're starting to see a shift.
Yeah, and I'd say I think it's because of that May spike, that May snow that we got. So
I remember that 2 weeks of cold,
we
right?
We thought it was gonna spike.
Yeah.
And then it came down, and then it came back up. That 2 weeks of cold and that 2 weeks of snow. And to be honest, it was super helpful.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible season so far, and because of the afternoon moisture we're getting, it's going to continue to get better. So
do you float guide also? Do you fish from a boat with clients, or do you prefer to wade guide, or what?
I prefer to wade as the season goes along, but at the moment I'm really enjoying the boat. It's been a lot of fun.
It's a nice change, right?
Yeah. So.
And what do you think's best for for people that have never fly fished before that might be tuning in right now that can't decide, should we do a wade trip? We have a couple kids. Should we do a flow trip? Is there one that's better than the other for beginners, or is it just...
I like to say, let's slap you in a pair of waders first, right? Let's get you fundamentally sound. And then that next trip, let's put you in the boat and we'll have a blast. Especially with the kiddos, put them in waders, running around the river. It's fun.
they love that, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
And the cool thing about the wade trips also, for those of you, a wade trip is when you're standing in the waders on the shore or in the water. If the kids get bored, they can find other things to do, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, they can throw rocks.
That's great for the fishing.
Skipping lessons. It's fun.
I mean, you've
So
taken
many
kids
things.
out for ice cream before, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it takes to keep everybody happy.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
How long's the season for fishing in your world?
I mean, in my world, preferably, it's year round.
Yeah.
I love the winter. Peak season, we're probably looking at what, early June to late September.
Yeah.
That's when it's a lot of fun and it can be incredibly productive.
Oh, that fall fishing gets so good too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I mean, September,
Early
October.
September, yeah.
Oh.
And those little tiny bugs too.
Yeah.
It's my favorite time.
So
of
let's
year.
show everybody what you're kind of rigging
Yeah.
up now. Just give us a rough idea. Tell us what, just if you want.
So what I'm rigging,
It's okay. He drops it, but it's live, so it's all good. Whatever happens. Looks like he's fishing with a hopper.
so right now I'm fishing with a hopper.
Maddie knows about the hopper dropper too.
Perfect. So I'm fishing with a hopper, and what I'll do especially is I'm going to take this hopper right here, and then I'm going to drop a few smaller bugs off of it with a little bit of weight. So, the idea behind fishing is how can I dress the most amount of water columns at the same time? So I want to dress up top. I want to see, are they still looking up yet? Or are they still sitting down looking for breakfast?
Are they going to eat that
asleep?
big thing this time of year?
I'd say so. I mean, I had plenty of eats. I was up on the Colorado River yesterday. Even when it was muddy water, they were coming up and they were cracking this yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Do you think the fish are confused because especially on the Eagle, because we have this higher, colder water later on in the season? Is it messing with their minds or the bugs' minds at all?
I would say it's messing with our minds. I mean, to be honest,
Sure.
I've had some days where
You did the other day. You came
I'm a
in and
little
you're like,
confused. Yeah, I came to the shop. I was like, Chad, what's the bug? He figured it out, but I didn't. But usually this time of year, it's dialed. I know exactly what bugs I'm using. But because the water's still a little bit higher, because it peaks so much later, it's been tougher to figure out. But it's been a lot more rewarding on a daily basis.
and we have about 30 guides that work at Minturn. Do you guys? I know you guys are all buddies. Do you share ideas and help each other out, or is it?
Of course,
it
especially.
is.
I mean, I'll tell you, once I'm off of the river, I got about 10 to 15 phone calls I'm going to make, or I'm going to field.
Hey, what did they eat for you today, or how is it fishing down there?
If I had a bad day, if I make 10 to 15 calls, I'll probably find someone who had a really great day.
Yeah.
And I'll be back the next day. I'll be back.
So you got a half day today?
Yeah, half day.
So what's a half day? How many hours?
Half day's 4 hours.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm going to meet these guys in the shop at 7:30. We're going to slap them a pair of waders, get them some fishing licenses, and we'll head out to the river. Anywhere between Avon and Gypsum, depending on what I see. I hear Gypsum's blown out this morning.
Oh, because
One of the phone calls I already made.
There you go. So you made some phone calls. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It'll be about 3.5, 4 hours in the water, and then we'll shake hands, high fives, and see you later.
Tip your guides. Everybody tip your guides too. Good chatting with you, buddy.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of The Scoreboard. To see more content, visit us online at thescoreboardnation.com. For Maddie Evans, I'm Blake O'Rulian. We will see you next time.